Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I,
Ekidona.
Akiduna. Akiduna. Akiduna.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Ekidona. Do I have to say it that slow? I swear you can say it faster, right?
Ekidona.
Ekidona. Okay. Ekidona.
So, if you need a little summary on what happened last episode, basically, Subaru goes to the mansion, basically tells Frederica, is that how you say it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Frederick and Petra to go to the village, right? And bring Rem with them. They leave, right? Subaru goes to talk to Beatrice, and to make a long thing, short, Beatrice is suicidal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then while they're talking, Elsa interrupts them, and basically Beatrice uses like a little spell, and Subaru and Beatrice get out of there. Where out when they're trying to get to the village, they stumble across, I forgot her name. What's her name again?
You see, I'm
All this
forgetting it
blank.
too. The M. What is her
I
name?
got it. I got it. I got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
What was it?
It was Melee.
Melee.
All
Yeah,
right.
Melee.
So they go to the forest, or not the forest. Wait, wait, wait.
They were going to the
They're
village.
going
They
to the
were on the way to
village.
the village. That's a road to the village from the
All right.
mansion.
All right. They're going to the village, and Melee, which is a character from season one, blocks their path, and it turns out she controls Maybeast, which
Mobbies.
basically
Yeah,
Mavis,
yeah.
yeah. And she's the girl who had the dog originally in season one.
And she's the one with the dog that bit Subaru twice in both
Yeah,
lives.
so basically all
Both
those
lives. Yeah.
events with the Mobbies and all that, and what is it, that part of season one was all her doing.
Yeah.
So Elsa comes by, right? They kind of like trap him. Beatrice was it holds Elsa off for a while.
Even
Um,
actually crystallizes her and makes
yeah,
her
and
break.
destroys her, right?
Yeah.
Well, Subaru and Beatrice talk for a bit, and Elsa wasn't dead. Elsa actually kills Beatrice, but before Beatrice actually died, wait. Elsa stabs Beatrice, right? And
And
then
then cuts
Elsa
her down the middle. Like, yeah.
yeah. And then Elsa then basically removes Subaru's eye.
Yeah.
And before Beatrice dies, she actually, what is it? She actually
Teleports
teleports
him. Yeah.
Subaru to the cellar, and that's where things get a little weird. So Subaru, he's in the cellar, right? So he just goes like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the little trial place, where you take the trial, and I'm trying to contact, what is
Amelia.
it, Ekidona?
Oh no, he was gonna go.
No,
Oh
he's trying to
yeah.
contact Ekidona,
He
right?
wanted to go to the
Um,
tea party again.
so he goes to the trial place. He goes to the trial place, and Amelia's there. She's acting different. It turns out she went crazy. She went crazy from just being there alone because she didn't have Puck or anything, and from, I'm guessing, trying the trial so many times, she actually went crazy. Then Amelia says, "I love you," which Subaru didn't think I need because she's crazy. So he
She
didn't
doesn't
really.
say it. She never actually says it.
No. She says, "I love you."
No, I know, but I'm saying in the whole seasons, everything, she never actually says it.
Yeah, so Subaru knows that, this isn't. I don't accept this. I don't accept this because she's not herself,
Yeah.
right? So Subaru leaves the little trial, right, and stumbles across Garfield, and Garfield is like, "Just remember, it's snowing right now." Garfield's like, "Yo, can you tell her to make it stop snowing?" Because he thinks Amelia is the one who's making it snow, and Subaru's like, "Amelia's not the one who's making it snow. It's
Roswell.
Roswell, right?"
And he goes to confront him.
So yeah, so basically Garfield and Subaru go to confront Roswell,
Roswell.
right?
Yeah.
And Subaru asks Roswell if he's the one making it snow, and Roswell doesn't deny it. That's when Garfield gets heated and Ram steps in. So Ram and Garfield are, arguing right now, and
Face to face,
as they're
mind you.
arguing,
Yeah.
Roswell literally kills them both.
He just
Um,
rams his arm right through both of
with his
them.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, just rams his arm straight through both of them. He kills them,
Um,
and boom.
Basically, all right. let me explain that a bit. So basically, Subaru's shocked and all that. So Roswell basically knows of Subaru's return by death, right? And since he knows this, in that little loop right there, in that certain loop, Roswell knew. So basically, Roswell has a goal, but in that loop, his goal is not possible in the slightest. He's in the certain conditions with even before he killed Ram and Garfield, his goal, he never tells us what his goal is, but his he just tells us that his goal cannot be met,
And
and it's
mind
impossible
you,
for him to reach that goal.
yeah, mind
So
you, he has a similar build to Beatrice where they have the one goal. It's a
yeah,
singular goal. So basically that's why Beatrice met hers, he can't meet his, and that's where they're at right now.
yeah. So what is it? Instead of just like saying nothing, right? So since Roswell knows of Subaru's return by death, he wants Subaru to help him complete his goal, right? And
Hmm.
one thing that Roswell actually didn't know about Return by Death is that Subaru actually has to die for him to restart. And that's the reason why he killed Ram and Garfield in the first place. He wants Subaru to
Restart
go.
anyway.
Yeah. So basically, just in case, it's just like a just in case. Like, oh, if you think you could keep on going, I'm just kill them. So you have to go back, right?
Yeah.
And when you go back, do this for me. So what is it? For some reason Roswell can't kill Subaru, so he just ends up like beating the crap out of him, right? And throws him outside the house, right? Where there's the little bunny things, the great rabbits, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot what Roswell said right there. I think he said like, "Oh, if you do something, you'll become like me," right? Before getting eaten by the rabbits himself, it cuts, right? And it cuts to like it's really grainy. It's really like dark, has like a little vignette around it, right? And it's like super stumbling into the trial place, and Amelia, she's crazy right now. Greets him like it's normal, right? A little too excited actually, and
She
skipping
was
over,
saying, yeah, she
right?
was saying all
So,
that, like,
yeah,
"Oh,
so
come lay down," and all this stuff.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
Amelia like, oh, you like laying down on my lap, right? So come lay down.
fully
Subaru.
disconnected from her normal self.
Yeah, so Subaru just, like he can't do anything else basically, right? So he just lays down on her lap, and it still has this like really it's just creepy music in the background. It's really like grainy. We see anything,
Never yeah, never
and
actually seen before in
yeah,
the seasons.
yeah, and then it goes from like Amelia's face, right? And she's saying stuff like, "Oh, what is it, Super? I only want you to care about me." But wait, no, that would make me selfish. The only good Super is the one who cares about everybody. She's talking basically nonsense, right? Doesn't matter what she's talking about right here. It pans from Amelia's face to Subaru's face with a glitching effect, and then we get a full shot of Subaru's body. And turns out he was just bitten all over by the rabbits, and he's just bleeding out right there. It's like I must say, right? This is Subaru's worst death.
You know, I feel like it's the worst death emotionally out of all of them,
I feel like it's the worst.
yet
It was probably his most painful death because
I yeah,
think
I
about it. Like he was missing chunks of his skin. He just has to like walk there. He's laying down and stuff. And then Amelia's crazy.
yeah,
Literally gets it.
yeah, that's what I'm
Roswell.
saying, like, emotionally, it was
Yeah,
actually the most draining. Yeah, I feel like the most painful was when he was just flat out getting eaten by them, like, the first time, when he was, like it was just him after everyone else was gone,
but
and
actually, that
the
was
white
kind of
rabbit.
like it might have hurt like for those couple seconds, but it was kind of quick. I feel like that this death right here not only was the worst emotionally, it's probably the worst painfully, like on a painful scale because he's basically going through the same thing he did when he first got eaten, except that it doesn't last a few seconds. He got to escape, and it's lasting until he bleeds out.
True, that is probably worse, pain-wise. The one thing I find really strange is I mean, I don't know if we're done with the summary at this point. Are we done with the summary at this point?
We're almost done. All right,
Okay,
so
finish this up.
we're there. We get the full body shot of Subaru. He's just all messed up, right? And basically, Subaru straight up dies right there. We get a few seconds after he dies, where Amelia actually goes down to kiss him.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then that's where the episode ends.
Like fades out after that.
Yeah. So what was it you want to say?
Um, the one thing I found really strange about this episode is, when Amelia was having her mental break, if you looked into her eyes, they had the colors of Satella's like shadowy self.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one thing
No.
I did notice.
What I originally thought is that Amelia was being taken over by Satella, right?
Yes, like an
But no, it turns out,
internal fight there.
yeah, no. She just straight up went crazy
Hmm.
because Puck wasn't there for her. So all right, let's get to the points. Let's do a few debunking stuff, right?
Yeah.
First things first, the contract theory that we made up last year, where it's like, it's what is it? Last year,
Last
last episode,
episode. Yeah.
um, where we thought that Beatrice didn't want to see Subaru die because if she sees Subaru die, the contract over. That's debunked completely because the reason why Beatrice told Subaru not to die where she can see him is because she's jealous of death. She wants to die.
And no one will actually kill her. And it was
Yeah.
only this time did she actually feel death for the first time. However, separate little thing, little aside, I think Subaru's gonna undo it.
Do you think Beatrice's death was permanent?
No. Reason why, remember all of Puck's like series, like when Puck actually like fully destroyed the world, but Subaru
Mm-hmm.
died before the world was destroyed? Like through all those transitions, even Puck went back in time and forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I feel like Beatrice is going to happen the same way. Since it is a spirit, the spirit may have dissipated into the atmosphere, yet taking it back in time literally takes it back in time to whether it's a separate world or whatever. It's still most likely going to bring Beatrice back. This is my theory. Obviously next episode might be a different thing. We know Subaru dies at the end of this episode though, so going to the next episode is just going to be his next life.
Yeah.
Depending on what
One thing
happens
I'm
it
worried
happens.
about for next episode is actually Subaru's mental state.
I
I'm
feel
worried
like,
about. I don't think he
yeah.
can go on this.
Yeah, knowing the weight of what he has, like the decision he has to make is either
Like, have
pr-
you seen the what ifs? Have you seen the what ifs? Basically, the
mm,
what ifs are basically every major decision he could have made it right. So I'll use an example with Rem, right? He could have made the decision of sloth, right, which is running away with Rem, or he could have made the right decision. I forgot what it was called, and basically, literally, he made the right decision, right, to go, and not forget about everything, not ignore anything, not run away with Rem, right? Because if he ran away with Rem, this story would have completely changed.
oh yeah.
But that's a smaller thing, right? That's actual like REM what if, right? It's more peaceful. Another what if that's like really drastic is remember when actually at the cliff when Beatrice was protecting Rem or Ram
No,
or
she was
no,
she was
but Beatrice,
protecting Subaru
Beatrice,
from
Beatrice was protecting Subaru from Ram, right?
yeah.
So in this timeline, right, Subaru decides to go to the forest and it still ends up at the cliff, right? Ram follows Subaru through the forest, right? But it turns out while she was going through the forest, she was also fighting some of the mobbies chasing Subaru. So when she actually finally got to Subaru, she collapsed because she used up so much energy. And basically, there was two decisions: wrath or patience. At that point, in the official anime that we've been watching, right, he chose patience, where he jumped off the cliff to redo everything. But in this timeline, let's say he chose Wrath. This is the official what if, right? So what he does is grab a big rock and hits Ram with it, like basically crushes her with it, right?
How would he
Uh,
do that?
well, no, he crushed like her head, but not really. I don't know. It's really hard to explain, right? And just from that, he's gonna skip like 5 years later, and he formed a villainous group with two characters, right? They're from like probably going to end up in like season 7 of ReZero.
Wait, are we actually gonna? Is that way in the future? The what if ends up bringing him
No,
there?
no, no. What if isn't? But the characters in this what if are from probably like going to be in like season 7 of
Oh,
ReZero.
you mean like canonically in the book series, like in the light novel, whatever setup they had?
Yeah, yeah, if we're going by like the official like version, which is the version we've been watching, right? Though the
Hmm.
characters that he made, what is it
You could
like?
call it like a treaty or a
With
league or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, the characters he made a league with. in the Wrath, what if are probably going to show up years from now. We're never going to probably see them in like season 7. That's crazy how they're bringing characters from like they're going never going to show up in years
Yeah,
to like a what if. And like this is canonically what would happen if Subaru chose to not be patient. This is official, right? So he forms an alliance, right? Basically a hitman group right now, right?
in the what if.
In the what if, he's basically a hitman group, right? He tells one of those characters, right, to go to the mansion and kill everybody at the mansion, the Roswell mansion. So they kill Roswell. They kill. I forgot what happened to Rem. I think Rem died too. Rem definitely died. I forgot how did Rem die. Also, Frederica died, and also this what if was written before season 2. So they introduced Frederica in this what if before the anime.
Huh.
So basically, Frederica died, right? Beatrice dies. Also, our cool little thing, right? Anime readers or anime readers, anime watchers, right? If they were to read this what if, right? Back before season 2 was released, and specifically before last episode, right? If they haven't watched that last episode, basically, Subaru goes to kill Beatrice, right? But before he kills Beatrice, Beatrice is like, "Are you the one?" You get it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah. Are you the one? Because this is what she asked, like, last episode, right? Are you the one? Oh, you're the one to kill me, right? But in this timeline, in this what if, Subaru doesn't know will never know what that means. He will never know what that means. So he just goes like, yeah, sure, and then kills her, right?
oh. So
Right?
so he just will lie to her basically.
Yeah, right.
I
So he never know what "are you the one" means. He never knew that Beatrice was like like that, right?
mhm.
I'm not going to explain the entire thing. Actually, I'm done right there. But that's just like an example of how,
Those what ifs work.
yeah, how different it could be, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he's been making the right decision every single episode, right? Or not every major decision. He's been making the right decision. But what I'm getting at here is that his mental state might not like this might affect his mental state this episode or what happened the newest episode. This might actually affect his mental state, right?
You mean
So
for
he might,
long term?
yeah, in the long term. So basically he might start making bad decisions.
Yeah, this is the thing though. I feel like he might end up being a lot more selfish in the future. Reason being, because really what Ekidona, whatever her pronunciation, she said Ekidona. Depending on what she told him, you only have to focus on one thing. Roswell even said it. Only have to
Yeah.
focus on one thing. I feel like that's going to be the next thing he's going to end up doing is everything for Amelia. He can't focus on Rem, and I think that's why they removed Rem and she's sleeping and all this stuff. So I feel like this is why he has to do most of his next decisions are either going to be just for him or just for her. And that's really what the decision is going to be between because everyone else's characters kind of faded away of importance. It's really just him and her at the top of the importance list right now. I feel like there definitely does have to be a little bit more resolution though, because the Ryuzu didn't come back this episode, like this past episode. They weren't really featured.
So what is it? This was taken out of the light novel, right? This episode in the original light novel, when the bunnies are surrounding Subaru after they eat Roswell, right?
Yeah.
In the light novel, Subaru actually used the Ryuzu clones to defend himself against the bunnies.
But like, I mean, there hasn't been really much I
Yeah.
should say, development of them, and I feel like the sanctuary thing is still the issue. In the last few episodes, he just seems like he can freely come and go, but everyone else is still trapped. And strangely enough, as soon as he went in, that became his problem. So I feel like Roswell knows this, but what I found really interesting is how many people we actually confirmed would know he has a power. But Beatrice, I don't think she knows. Like, she knows that he's the one that was supposed to come and how the book just ends there. I don't know if he goes back and Beatrice comes back. Wait, I don't know. Did you? Oh, I don't know what your thoughts on that. If Subaru returns by death and Beatrice is alive, do you think he'll kill her?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm interested. I don't know. I don't know what Subaru's going to do at this point. What is it? There was one thing that really caught my attention, right? And it's when was it Subaru and Beatrice are talking in the library, and what is it? Beatrice goes, "So can you be my first?" Of course you won't be. So kill me.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't I think it might be like she's been contracted for over 400 years. She didn't actually live out a normal life.
Uh-huh.
Um I feel like it's similar because those spirits are basically slaves if you think about it. They're technically
Yeah.
just slaves. They have their own minds, they have their own wants and desires and whatnot, but they're unable to fulfill them because they've been contracted, and that's their position. They can't change anything until their contract is up. Yet they can't forget. So it is really just pain at that point. I feel with Beatrice, she wasn't able to fall in love, and like I guess firsts of everything you could say in that situation. I feel like that might be what she means. Like first kiss, like,
Yeah.
whatever else. Cause I don't like a spirit's anatomy is different than a human's. They just can become a physical form. So I feel like in that sense, there's a difference. It's more of an emotional side of things they haven't been able to experience. So I would say that's more or less what it is.
Yeah, the reason why that caught my eye is because what is it? It's like, oh wait, there's she's proposing something other than her own death.
Yeah,
And
it's like she wants satisfaction, she wants happiness, and she feels like those are the only two ways she can get it.
yeah, so basically my question is, will Subaru like do that for her or no? Or like what which one will Subaru ultimately pick?
This is the thing. I think he's still gonna choose Amelia over her.
Yeah.
I just don't. This is the
Well,
thing.
I don't think I see what is it? I don't know if I see that as like a relationship as like, love, right?
No,
I
she
don't know.
said put her first. Remember her words were Beatrice said, "Will you put me first? I want to be put first." And that's totally against what Amelia's Satella side is saying.
Mhm.
So in that sense, it's either going to drive. Okay, this is another theory. Boom, just thought up.
Uh-huh.
If Subaru chooses Beatrice, Amelia is going to become extremely jealous, or Satella is going to come and become extremely jealous
Mhm.
and kill Beatrice, and she's going to end up dying, end up what she wants. She might consume Subaru again, she might not. I feel like that's the situation right now, my theory, but I really don't believe Subaru's going to choose her first. He probably doesn't want her to die. Like, if I was in Subaru's situation, knowing what Beatrice can do, I wouldn't want her to die. He's probably going to come back and save Beatrice as well and not let them get in the situation and make her live longer. But I don't know if he's going to be able to make that decision.
Let's actually get to the first point. This is really vague. I don't think we know anything. The only thing we could do is theorize right here. And I'm pretty sure we already had the answer, actually, to be honest. Why did Beatrice's book stop showing the future?
Like it said, her contract was up,
Yeah.
or that she actually completed whatever it was. I I feel like it's the same thing. You remember in Betelgeuse, he
Hmm.
was reading his version of the book or whatever, and he was saying, "Oh, it's not here anymore. It's not here," and he was writing stuff in with his own blood and whatnot. Like this, like, oh, my brain, whatever he was
Yeah, but
saying.
Roswell's book is still working.
Yeah, because his thing is not done, right?
Hmm.
His contract isn't over. We don't know what his goal was. Mind you, I find it awfully strange that Beatrice and Roswell live in the same mansion and they brought Amelia in because
Hmm.
Amelia was technically living in the forest before they brought her in, right?
Hmm.
So, like, they are kind of her sponsors for the whole selection thing,
Hmm.
which I found strange. Weird how both of them are in the house together, yet Beatrice is in some other part and Roswell is in some other part as if he owns the house. They are totally different. I don't know if Roswell is contracted to Echidna like Beatrice is, but I do feel that Roswell still has more to his. Beatrice is at the end of hers, and that's why I don't really know if there's more to it than that. I think what there's going to be a character break if she's like continues to live afterwards is her living by something other than a book. And that's going to be like her next character development. That's my thought.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and this is 1B. This is just like Larry's statement. Back in like I think episode I forgot the episode where basically everybody in the mansion dies when Subaru goes to the mansion for the first time, right? And everything goes wrong.
Hmm.
So he goes to Beatrice's place to kill himself, right? And Beatrice, what is it?
She stops him from being able to kill himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was so close to killing himself, and then Beatrice turned around and was like, "Oh no!" Right? And like as if she was like she didn't expect it, right? And that explains why because her book stopped working. She can't tell the future anymore.
Yeah. I feel like that dawned on Subaru is that everything she's been doing since whenever it was,
Hmm.
she's been doing from her own mind.
Hmm.
And that's also something else I feel like changed for him as well, was that it wasn't her just being nice to be nice. She didn't know what to do, so she was just doing what she felt would be right. So I feel like that's also going to have an effect on what happens next. I don't understand it. Like if she's falling in love with Subaru, that's kind of weird because that's what, three people now. I don't get it. I mean like
It want us to die.
yeah, yeah, okay. So it's like Rem is like, please come away with me. We can have a family. I'll give you kids. I'm like, I calm down. Like, I chill out, bro. You know, he didn't ask.
Honestly, I still think what is it? Subaru can still bring meaning to Beatrice's life without actually getting with her.
Exactly. That's one thing I feel like there's going to be. It's like, I mean, Beatrice is 400 years old. She's had more pain than Subaru's had, like emotionally, I feel, overall, because she literally had to just wait for so long and she remembers everything from that, and she wasn't able to do anything of her own free will really in that
Mhm.
situation. I really want to see what happens. I don't think Beatrice is going to stay dead because that's really unfitting end for her.
There's so much
Y-
to learn about her.
yeah, but I also feel like because we only watch the anime and I don't want to like spoil that whole, people who don't just watch anime and read the books or whatever. The one thing I also feel is that Beatrice honestly hasn't had that much screen time, so that might be just the ending to make you feel unfinished. It's like, okay, not everything can be right, and not everything can be made right, which is what Echidna said. Remember in the second tea
Yeah.
party, I feel it was, when
Mhm.
she said, you have to focus on one thing, not everything's going to be able to be fixed. So that's also another thought.
I don't know. I just hope Beatrice will come back. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I really want it to happen too.
Uh, we'll see next episode. Point two. This is like a little soft point, and literally all we can do is speculate right here. Just know like I don't think there's any really facts. How did Elsa come back after being destroyed?
Like in the video you sent me, I feel like she has a ability to avoid death because also like they had mentioned in the video when Reinhardt basically destroyed the whole building they had,
Hmm.
she still came back and still sliced through the log that Subaru picked up and still managed to like cut open his stomach. So I like I said, unable to die. One thing I do find is extremely strange in that in that time when Reinhardt, you know, sliced the whole building to pieces, she came back in pieces, right? I don't think she had her arm or whatever. She couldn't use it. She was carrying it like in her mouth or something crazy like that.
Yeah, but then again, I feel like it's been confirmed that like mass healing like that is because what is it, Cruise, right? Remember, Cruise got her arm sliced off.
Oh wait, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, they were able to like bring it back. Um
Yeah,
yeah, but that's like self-healing I feel is different than having like the special healers.
but I think also works with she does work with other people actually.
Yeah, but they weren't there. Only Melee was there, and she was a Mob Beast controller. She
Yeah,
wasn't
but there's
actually
definitely
like,
other people. There has to be way
oh,
other people than
oh,
just.
yeah. There, I feel like there's a ton of other people. Like, you remember
So I
there was
guess.
the people at the cart when they destroyed the carts.
Mhm.
Like, ages ago when they're like, "I we're just here to do what we're here to do," like, and they like blew up the carts
Mhm,
way back when they were like helping the villagers escape from was it from the mansion or whatever. I don't know
mhm,
if you remember that. It was a long time ago in the stories, like early season one. I think it was it the fight against the white whale or something like that. But anyways, they were they were outside the cards. I think that might be like a separate thing, but
mhm,
I know that their contracts or whatever. There's a lot more people they've yet to experience and yet to encounter, like Subaru and all those people. And Elsa and Melee are the footmen of whatever thing they're under, you know? So they're
mhm.
still like on the weak side of the amount of people they have to come up against.
Yeah. So I'm guessing was it also went back to like healer, right? To get her arm back. But I don't know how she came back after being destroyed there. She's literally in pieces.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. And so quick. Because if her body crumbled, how would she fully come back together? The one thing I don't remember seeing, by the way, was her head. Like
Mhm.
if you look at
No,
the
no, no.
body.
Her head was like split in half.
Oh wait, yeah, it fell afterwards. Oh yeah, her body crumbled and then her head fell. But that's the weirdest thing. If she was fully taken apart, how did she just form back together? And she always has the same blade. I don't know if the blade has something to do with that, but she always has the same blade and never like I don't think she's used anything else to kill someone. Like she uses the throwing knives or whatever, but she
Mhm,
always seems to come back and kill them with the blade. But that's separate. That's just her own little like character arc or her own quirks as a character. Yet the returning from death in the same situation, that's also difficult to fight. I don't know if it has like any connection since they're mobbies. Like there's the mobbies controller and like the great rabbit or whatever, how they can't actually die. They just keep multiplying. I don't know if Elsa has something like that where her cells, as long as there's one alive, like there's one live one, she can just come back. That's like I feel like that's a possibility. But also that's also a really weird theory. It's like how does she reform?
mhm.
That's weird. That's like a it's gonna be interesting to see because she's been here since the first episode.
Yeah.
She's probably the longest character alongside Subaru and Amelia at the
And
moment.
she knows, I'm pretty sure she knows about Return by Death as well,
She
right?
might, honestly, she might. I feel like that's there's a strong shout that she would know.
Um, point three. Subaru basically later, but when he's talking to Roswell inside the house, Subaru asks Roswell, "Why is it only snowing? Why is it snowing on the second day?" Right? Or no, 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 no. I think when he was coming out the trial, right? Which basically implies that Subaru getting stabbed in the eye and Beatrice teleporting him and him waking up in the cellar all happened in one day,
Yeah.
right? So he woke up at the night of that same day he got stabbed in the eye, right? So, if so, right? What could have made Amelia lose her mind like that and act like it's been such a long time when it's only been 2 days? She,
Maybe
he, like
time is
literally,
different.
Subaru's been away from Amelia for literally only a day, and not even a day, less than a day, and she
Literally
went crazy.
literally a day into the evening. That's how long he's been away. Probably like a total of come to think of it, like 15 hours.
Yeah,
Because you know that's how his return by death works. So that's really interesting to look into how quick she switched.
yeah.
One thing I don't know is if time is different in the sanctuary because they said everything was different in the sanctuary. Remember that?
Did
Like
they?
it's not as it seems. I don't know if they said anything about time, but that's also a possibility. Is because like Roswell was making it snow just in the sanctuary and stuff like that, and he can control those types
Yeah.
of things. And since he's gonna come back, it's important to know that his goal hasn't changed, but it's still a different Roswell. Until
And
he dies. Remind you, it's until he dies, which is weird.
yeah, and with the fact that what is it? It happened on the second day, all that snow, right? On only on
Yeah.
the second day, right?
Yeah.
I think we might have got our answer. So back when Garfield knocked Subaru out the barrier, and then he woke up in the cellar the first time, when he died from the bunnies the first time, right? And it was snowing, right?
Yeah.
Does that also happen on the second day? And
You know,
and Roswell was the reason it was snowing that time as well.
I wouldn't be surprised because I believe it's only Amelia and Roswell who can make it snow in that
I originally
area.
thought it was Puck. I thought it was Puck
Oh
and
yeah.
his
Oh wait, yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh my god, what is it? Memory Snow coming in clutch.
Oh wait. Yes, because remember Puck made it snow when they were going back to the mansion.
Yeah,
And like Puck cut his head off, right? That whole thing because Amelia died, like Puck was mourning and said, "I've got to destroy the world now." So
not even
that make
in Memory Snow. He when he rests, um, it makes it snow as well. I don't know, but I feel like I don't think it's Puck anymore because literally Roswell said it was him.
yeah, Roswell basically said, "I yeah, you got me. I'm the one doing it. Time to kill Rem and Garfield."
Yeah, he did
But
that so that Subaru has a reason to, you know,
yeah, I feel like
remember.
yeah, it was basically like to make it easier. I feel like if I was Roswell, what I would have done was just go like, "Boom, Amelia, you're dead," and then he would have to go back because right now, even though he ended up dying from his wounds, I believe, unless Amelia, for some crazy reason, decided to try to heal him in that situation, I'm assuming he dies and he'll come back anyway. It wasn't really death wasn't fully his choice. It was just the end of the road for him in this situation. But I do agree with the fact it was just to make his decision like more sure, knowing Roswell was going to come back, because Roswell can't come back unless Subaru comes back.
No. But this is my fourth point, right? Roswell literally says, "My present me will meet its end here, but another me will help you." He
Yeah,
literally said that when I die,
I end
I don't go
here.
back with you. I don't go
Yeah,
back with. So basically, everything that happened, he won't remember when Roswell. The only thing Roswell knows is that Subaru can return by death.
exactly. But he doesn't know
Right?
how it works. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how it works because it might be the same Roswell. Remember this, because since Roswell doesn't know, even though he says, "Okay, it's going to be a different me," it might be a different me. It might be the same me. Me
No.
in his
He basically
context.
is saying that I don't go back with you. Basically, everything that happened here, I won't remember when you go back. He basically told it to him, right? And what my fourth point wasn't about what we were talking about here. My fourth point was going to be with that little quote. I think this confirms that even when Subaru dies and he goes back, the world in which he dies still goes on, which we touched on last episode, where he left the message at Amelia's door, and he says, "Even if I die, I don't want Amelia to look sad." And I was like, "And that's kind of implying it," but now I think it's like official.
Uh, I see. I see. It makes sense. It makes sense. So Roswell just is going to be different fully.
Hmm.
And all right. So knowing that point, I feel like Roswell, since he fully doesn't understand how Subaru's power works, he's going to probably continue to use Subaru in this way since he knows, since even though it's a different Roswell, I don't know how far that Roswell's memories go back, right? Since they don't go forward into a different life and Subaru's going back in time, I don't know how far Roswell's memories go back. If that Roswell will still know he has returned by death or not, you know?
Hmm.
I don't know if it just
No.
comes
I
back.
think I think Roswell always knew. That's why he made all these crazy decisions.
Huh.
That's why he left
Oh,
Subaru by himself. That's why he did all these crazy things that like a normal person would think of because he knows
wait
that
a
and
second.
even if he in the timeline which he left Subaru he fails, he knows there's going to be at least one timeline where he wins.
You know, that actually makes sense because remember, it was Roswell's
He
decision
literally
to
said it.
send him to the
Said it in
sanctuary.
no. He literally said what I just said in a couple episodes ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He literally says it like so.
He's made decisions because he knew that Subaru could get out of them.
Yeah.
And it's mainly just been selfish from him this whole time
Hmm.
because he wants to fulfill his goal like Beatrice was death.
Honestly, I don't see him as a villain though.
The thing is, I find him to be similarly in pain as Beatrice was because I don't know what he was contracted to. Remember that? Like we don't know any of his backstory. We just know okay, he showed up in the first couple episodes and I think actually it was episode 2, I believe, when he went to the mansion and he was like, "Hey yo, I thought you were a clown." And he's like, "Nah, bro, I run this house." And then like we don't know where he came from because remember Amelia saying, "Oh, he has this like special magician business or whatever." However, what I find interesting, we didn't know about Beatrice is that she was contracted by someone else and she couldn't do anything for herself this whole time. She wasn't using the book of her own free will. That was literally her only determining direction for her life since she was contracted over 400 years ago. With Roswell, he has a book, meaning he probably was contracted to do something a long time ago as well, maybe the same time as Beatrice, meaning he might be as old, if not older than Beatrice. So this is
Honestly, yeah, but
that's what I'm feeling. So
yeah,
I don't know. And also remember how Subaru was taken over by Betelgeuse. They might just find new vessels for the spirits as well. Remember that
mhm,
because Betelgeuse took over Subaru because he had the compatibility. Yet some people were unfit vessels for that like power, or not really like a power. It's kind of like a sickness if you think about it.
yeah,
But yeah, like they're unfit and they ended up killing themselves or like ended up dying. But Subaru was fit. So I feel like that might be how Beatrice and Roswell work. Yet I don't know overall his goal. And that's what we're gonna find out. And that's what I'm
yeah,
kind of interested in finding out.
yeah. We don't know his goal, but as of yet, I don't see his motives as villainous, right? Because what is it? It's kind of messed up that he's using Subaru, yeah, but I just see it as him trying to knock out two birds with one stone. Why
Yeah,
can't Subaru go back? Save whatever he has to save, and help me achieve my goal.
it would be a lot easier if, but the thing is, same thing what Echidna said. You can only have one focus. He's going to disappoint Roswell if he helps Amelia. He's going to disappoint Amelia if he helps Roswell. Same thing if he tries to help Beatrice, he's going to disappoint both Amelia and Roswell, and
Mhm.
vice versa.
So
So,
basically, that is they're saying, what is it? You have to worry about one thing.
yeah,
Um, it's just a matter of like, what is Subaru going to focus on? Beatrice, Roswell, or Amelia?
yeah, this is the thing. I personally feel it's going to be Amelia first off the bat because he knows the only way to get out of the loop is to complete the sanctuary trial and get everyone out. That's the only way he can destroy this loop because they're going to end up coming back here constantly. He knows that the likes of Beatrice and Frederica and Petra and all them, they end up dying in every single life, right? He's had, they end up dying. So, because of that, I feel like what he has to do is focus knowing the only way I can stop that from happening is if he either goes back out there and makes sure everyone is safe and then helps Amelia finish the trial. That's one possibility. However, just coming back from this time, I think it's the first time he came back to the sanctuary in his lifetime without like dying or anything like untowards happening.
Mhm.
Amelia was insane, and I
Yeah.
don't think there's a way for him to undo that. So that's where if he focuses on Beatrice, that's going to happen to Amelia. If he focuses on Amelia, Beatrice, Frederica, Petra, Rem, they're all going to end up dying for
Yeah, but
good.
we don't know what happens if you focus on Roswell though.
Yeah, we don't know what happens when he focuses on Roswell because he brought them in. I do believe he has the ability to complete the trial and get them out. He's untapped in this situation. He's probably going to come back still being in the bed, still being bandaged up after his, I'm putting some quotations, his try at the trial because they said, oh, look what happened to Roswell. I'm like, if he's so powerful and he's so able, why would he have such physical repercussions? Like, have so many physical injuries from trying to complete the trial when it's a mental trial?
Mhm.
You see, like that's my first thought because even though Subaru came out and like was shook like shaken up when he was able to go back to his past, he wasn't as shaken up because like it was kind of good for him. But even Amelia, how she was shaken up, she wasn't physically harmed. Yet with Roswell, he was. And we still don't know how Garfield went through with his the trial as well. So it's really interesting if Subaru does focus to see what he'll be able to do. However, same thing, I'm not going to look at any part of the light novels or any of the books or whatever because I just want to just keep
All
watching
right,
those.
so there's a bit miscalculation on my part. I could say this with certainty, right? Because I just checked back in, right, to see make sure. There's going to be one episode Wednesday, right,
Hmm.
which is going to be
It's 37.
all right. There's going to be no 23rd, right?
Yeah, but I mean episode 37.
Oh yeah. Oh, third episode 37 is going to be on the 23rd, right? And the last episode for season two, the first half, before it goes on hiatus, is I could say this with complete certainty, the 30th
All right, so the
of
30th of September is the end of this half of season 2 of ReZero. All right.
yeah. Do you have any points you want to add that we haven't gone over or haven't
Um
mentioned?
Um, my point was the one I brought up briefly earlier was that
Mhm.
Amelia has like Satella within her. It's not something that comes and consumes her. Satella, I feel, comes out of her. And that's why they were hating her because she was able to control it when she was like kind of hibernating in Frozen Bond, you know? How she was like
Mm.
hibernating in that situation was like annexed in the forest and everyone hated her. Whatever she did was in her Satella form, and that's why I personally see that she has all those past people that she's consumed, you know?
Mhm.
Because currently, since Subaru has come to this world, he's been the focus of Satella. And also remember when he first came to the world, Amelia introduced him, introduced herself to him as Satella, even though it was as a
Um,
joke. Remember that?
no, she did it not as a joke, but like I think to scare him off because she's not used to. I don't think she was used to what is
People
it
being
like?
attracted to her.
Not even being attracted, just talking to her.
Yeah.
So and she was kind of like weirded out. So she said her name was Satella, right?
Hmm.
And that's why when Subaru was like Satella, all right, and
She
that's
was
why
like,
Amelia was
huh?
shocked.
Oh, yeah. Remember Puck was like, that is so bad. You can't tell him to call you that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just remember that now. Yeah. He was like,
Like
Puck was
that,
like, hey,
literally,
yo.
literally, what is it? The creator, right, had it in mind so that um if you watch basically if we're watching season two and you go back to season one, you learn even more about season one with new info.
That, I
Like
think
literally,
we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to do like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
revision
Because
episode
now that we know
just
that
of us going through it.
now that we know that Beatrice is, what is it?
Contracted and wants to
Not even try,
die.
but wants to die, right?
Yeah.
That basically, if we were to basically we got not spoiled for us, but like like basically spoon fed to us, right?
Yeah.
That that's why back in season one, that's why she said, "Don't die where I could see you." But if we were to not even know about that, we were to watch this episode and know that she's jealous of death and wants to die, and we were to go back to season one and watch that, we would be like, oh,
Yeah. We would
that probably
know
would be
her
the moment.
her
Now I
whole
really
thought
want to go
process.
back. I really want to go back to season one to have those moments.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see, even from Amelia's first entrance on screen, everything like that, of how her arc has actually changed
Yeah,
totally since Subaru's come into it, and how she introduced him with her fully unknowing of what he was thinking about, him having no clue why he was there. He was like, wait, I didn't die, and everything like that. It's going to be crazy to go back to see because it's
yeah, it's
been,
going to be a totally different watching experience because
yeah.
when you first watch season one, you're just taking everything in. You're just like like just taking everything in little by little. But now that we watch season two, and going back to season one, is going to be like it's going to be totally different because you know what's going to happen. It's just like you're just going to be studying everything, like as if your second watch on like episodes, right? On these season
Yeah.
two episodes when we watch them like a second time and like study them we watch them in a different way, right? Looking for little clues and pausing them a bit, right?
Mhm.
Is going to be like that, but just for like an entire season, just looking for little clues, like reasons, like stuff that you didn't understand on your first, watch. Is going to be a
And
totally different experience.
yeah, and also
Uh,
what's gonna be crazy is to see Subaru's arc in itself, how he was desperate and he was just like, "I just need her, why doesn't she want me?" and all this stuff, to his transition to being like, "Okay, in order for her to want me, I have to prove that she needs me for strength rather than me just being needy and needing her." And, like, everything how that ended up changing. And even though he has a few, I guess, leaps and bounds, you could say, in that first season, there was still so much that he learned since then, just coming to season two.
yeah,
And that's
like
gonna be crazy to see.
it's so weird. It's not even weird. It's like it's so weirdly natural, right? Because you go back to season one and you see how he acted there. He was like, he's still in season two. He still says some things that, like, like that he didn't mean. Like, and like I think the last two episodes, right? Um,
Mhm,
he calls Amelia. She says, "Oh, Amelia, you look like a fairy," and Amelia's like, "Hey, that's disrespectful, right?"
mhm.
Of course, he still has those moments like these in season two, but back in season one, he was just so like ignorant, right? Um,
Yeah,
and awkward and cringy, right? And throughout season one, he was like building, building, building. And by season two, he's not awkward anymore. He's not like painful to watch. He's not like like, oh, you have to pause a bit, like, oh my god, you idiot. Because but it's not like while watching this and seeing Subaru so filled with confidence and just like not being a clown, right?
yeah.
Even while watching and knowing that, it doesn't feel strange. It feels natural. Like he worked his way up to that point.
He grew so far from him just saying, "I need to die because I I can't live without blah blah blah," or he can't handle failure. His maturity in knowing when he has to die and knowing what he has to do before he dies is great to see, like his
Mm.
progression, everything like that. Because if it
I
was
feel like
still how stupid he was back at the beginning of the like first season, if he was
Mhm.
still that stupid, everyone would stop watching by now. Because
Yeah,
like he would just be doing stupid stuff all the time.
yeah. So what is it? Great character progression, great character development.
Yeah,
That's a this
exactly.
is an A+ in character development. Um, I think the characters are the best part about ReZero, right? And um, I think that as time goes on, the challenges that and conflicts Subaru faces, right,
Yeah.
get more difficult, right? Because remember his first conflict. His first conflict was kind of difficult, but not really, right? It's almost like puzzles. It's basically puzzles for Subaru,
Mhm.
right? That's the best way to put it. Where his first puzzle, right, from season one, was figuring out how to one save Amelia, right,
Yeah.
or and stop Elsa, right, and
Mhm.
ultimately he decided to call the guards, right. Then the second puzzle was who's killing me, right, with the little, it was Rem, right,
Yeah.
but killing
He
me.
didn't know who was doing it that
Then
whole
was
time.
it who why she got sick. Then I'm pretty sure I'm missing a few, but let's go back to the end of it. Like, how do I kill this white whale? Right? How do I? No, 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 no.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
no,
go
no,
back
no.
to
Remember, was it
how do I
Rem
stop
who died?
Beetlejuice? How do
Yeah.
I stop
Betelgeuse. Yeah,
Bet,
Betelgeuse.
yeah? How do I stop Betelgeuse? How do I and the white whale? Um, it's just like it's getting harder and harder. Now we don't even know what he's trying to stop here.
Exactly. We don't know exactly how to stop the Satella event from happening. We
We
don't know
don't
how
know
to
how to.
stop what's happening at the mansion. We don't know how to stop the snow. We don't know how to stop the Great Rabbit. There's so many, still, there's a lot of loose ends, but what they have resolved is that Roswell knows Beatrice wants to
Matter of
die.
fact, oh my god, now I think about it, the conflicts get larger because there's more, like how you explained, the rabbits, that's one. um what is it, the events at the mansion, that's two. Satella, that's three, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Amelia stuff, that's four.
Exactly.
The bunnies, that's five. And then go back to the white whale, the white whale, that's one. um what is it, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, that's two, right? What's the third one? I forgot what was the third one. Um,
He was
the
also
bomb,
having,
the bomb inside of, what is it? The little bomb thing inside of Amelia's, cart, or
yes,
cartridge. Yeah, right.
yes.
That's three, right? There was three things there, and in the, and let's just go back to like the first conflict. There was only one thing, which was Elsa.
Yeah.
It just
Not to,
multiplies.
and
The
remember, he had the micro conflict when Julius was, he's like, "Hey, you gonna steal my girl? Like, please don't leave." It's like, remember that when he was like fighting
Mhm.
him? That
Yeah.
was like a micro conflict. However, that was resolved over like an episode and a half. It wasn't that
Mhm.
big, but
It's just multiplies, or not
yeah,
multiplies, just adds an extra conflict.
yeah. But not to mention, a lot of those conflicts no one remembers.
Mhm.
So that's also crazy because remember, Rem was wiped out of their memories.
Yeah.
So no one really remembers Rem
Well,
except him. No, no.
no, because they have faint memories of stuff happening, but not of REM. Because what is it?
Yeah, but
Because
that's what I mean. Like they
no,
don't
no, no.
know
Because
her.
Subaru goes to Subaru says, I'll throw Ram off a cliff so I could distract you. And Ram, when Garfield leaves, Ram is like, when you said that about you throwing me, it's almost like you did that to me before. And she did. When
Exactly.
when he threw Ram at Rem.
And they were fighting the mob beast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that did happen. So they have faint memories of stuff happening, but like they can't remember it fully because what is it? It's like that little thing you can't remember, that little puzzle piece.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
I mean,
there's the gap of Rem's existence. They're like, huh?
yeah, like it's almost like, oh, it's almost like you
It
did that, but
seems like
I don't remember it.
it seems like it's happened, but like it's like deja
Yeah.
vu that
Also,
you don't believe. It's like
basically,
deja vu
like,
you don't believe.
yeah. So basically, it's like those events still happen, but it's like there's always like a missing thing. Like, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Right?
Yeah.
And that's confirmed actually in a what if. Um, that's actually confirmed in a what if of what is it? So it's, I think, the first what if. So remember in the first season, right, where Subaru thinks everything is like a game.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is
So you mean
where's
I can? Yeah. He was
he
like, I
thinks
can
that
do
for like a.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. He thinks that's like he thinks it's just like a. Oh, wait. Call on it. He thinks that this world is like a game for like a good like episode and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And basically, this what if is, what if he thought it was a game the entire way through,
Yeah, but you
right?
see, I feel like when they started thinking it wasn't a game was when he had the whole flashback and Ekidona had him in the trial going to see his parents and everything, yet he was still
No, no,
in
no,
that world.
no. I think he knew it wasn't a game. Um, when I think the second time that Subaru died, I think he knew it wasn't a game.
When was the second time? Was that in bed in the mansion?
No, the second time he died was actually by Elsa.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he died. He died twice and survived the third time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how
yeah.
it worked.
Um, so what is it? I think that's the second time. Yeah, yeah. So I think what is it? That's when he started to think it's not a game, right? But basically, this is like, oh, what if he thought it was a game the entire way through? And basically, the entire events of the first loop goes around where he does like the Amelia, Amelia and him dies, right? And then it cuts right to him drawing tabs on the dirt, right? And it turns out he died 87 times in this what if, right? This is all official, written by the creator.
Hmm.
Um, right? He died 87 times trying to do the same exact thing because he thinks it's a game, right?
Wait, you mean from the beginning?
Yeah, he keeps on dying. He died to Elsa 87 times in this what if because he thought it was a game,
Damn, bro.
right? Instead of the two times, um, because he didn't want to ask for help, right? He he just keeps on thinking like, oh, pride. That's what it's called, pride, right?
Yeah,
Um, he thinks he has to complete it, right? Um, but no, he has to get in order for him to actually, like actually complete this, is if he gets Reinhardt involved, right? But he doesn't do that 87 times. He just keeps on dying 87 times, right? And on the
yeah,
last time, right, that on the last time, right, the little the mugglers, right, the muggers who wants to
yeah,
like rob, right? He what is it? He punches them out, right? He punches them, knocks them out, chokes them to death, smashes them with his he kicks their heads in, right? Until
yeah.
he hears all their heads crack, right? And heads to the loot house and gets Reinhardt involved. And Reinhardt immediately beats Elsa, the person he's been dying to 87 times. But by even though and he beat Elsa, right? His mental state is gone right now because
Yeah.
he died 87 times to her, right? And also a little small thing, instead of only the loot house getting destroyed, the entire town got destroyed from that,
From
right?
the Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
Yeah. So little small thing, right? Um,
You're
and
like a little small thing. Homie dies 87 times.
yeah, but uh, what is it? He basically sits outside the loot house, right? Sits outside the destroyed loot house, and Betelgeuse's members, right, want to recruit
Yeah.
him because what is it? Right now, basically, Subaru is exactly like his members, right? So
Mhm.
since Subaru died all those 87 times while he's outside waiting at the loot house, Betelgeuse recruits Subaru, um, and I think um, what is it? Betelgeuse shows Subaru's plans, right? Or no, but Betelgeuse shows Subaru his plans, and his plans were to kill Amelia, but Subaru doesn't want Amelia to be killed, so he kills Betelgeuse, right?
Yeah.
And then I forgot what happened. I think he attends like the voting or something. Um, and I think he remembers Crush, right? And a
Yeah.
little while later, Crush dies from the white wheel,
Yeah.
and nobody remembers Crush except for Subaru. But this time, instead of Subaru, going back to save Crush, Subaru doesn't care about Crush. Subaru just sees like Crush being eaten by the white whale and being forgotten by everybody else is like an example of like like oh just don't get eaten by the white whale, right? He doesn't go back to save Crush or anything, right?
Hmm.
Um, but Felix is still alive, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm getting at with the it was a long explanation to get to this point, right? So where Rem got got everybody forgot about Rem, right? So Ram is like this is speaking on the official timeline, right? So Ram is like I could kind of remember you tossing off a cliff, but tossing me off like or throwing me, but like I don't think that ever happened, but I feel like it happened, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what she's saying, right? Um, so for Felix, right? Felix been with Cruz since he was alive, right? Cruz is all Felix ever known, right? So it's not like Ram where it's like, oh, me being thrown. I don't know why it was thrown, but it's just a little gap right there. But since Felix, all Felix known was with Crush, Felix actually went completely insane because Crush got this is in a what if story. Um, since Crush got eaten by the white whale, um, and
Felix goes insane.
goes completely insane because he's like, "Why am I here?" Like, Crush is the only thing Felix knows,
Oh yeah.
so he
So
goes completely insane.
because he lost the memory of the person who gave him purpose.
Yeah,
That's actually really crazy. Like so
it's
many.
crazy how lore goes so deep. The lore that goes this lore goes so deep that the what if stories provide context to things that are happening in the real story.
But that's what I really like is when they have creators that are on top of what everyone's thinking about,
Hmm.
and they can say, okay, well, this was what would have happened if we made this decision in this story versus
They
this
say like
one.
this
It's
is what would happen if we did this, and
yeah,
also manage to include facts about
yeah.
other characters.
That's what I excuse me. That's what I find is great about this show is because they're so active in their writing that they write stuff that didn't even end up making the cut. You know,
Yeah,
like didn't even end up becoming the story. They said, "Oh, well, you thought that was going to happen. Well, this is what's actually going to happen if we had made that decision way back when." And that's that's dedication to a storyline if I've ever
yeah,
seen it.
and he writes it every on April 1st. He writes a new one every April 1st,
Oh,
which is
that's
Subaru's
crazy.
birthday. Which is Subaru's birthday.
Also, April Fools. Ayo,
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. So it's kind of like what is it? You could cut no, just cut what I just said.
about
Where
you
you
can
could
cut.
where you
Yeah.
could cut. Um, it's kind of like if you've been keeping up with the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, where there's Five Nights at Freddy's games, right? And
hmm
there's their own lore, and then there's the books, which is in a different timeline, right?
Yeah.
Completely different timeline, completely different story, right? Completely different characters. So basically, like, what is it? Like the person who basically is the soul carrier for Freddy, the child who what is it haunts Freddy, is a completely different child in the books. Is a completely different child from the kid who haunts Freddy in the games, right?
Yeah.
So basically, while the books take place in different timeline, different story, right? They explain things that the books explain things that weren't explained in what is it the games. So basically, oh, what is it? If there's animatronic, if kids can be robots and think they're real, then that's plausible in the games as well, right? Same thing goes with
Yeah.
ReZero. If in the what if story, right? They think this, that means that has to go true for the main timeline as well.
Yeah. They don't make it just one thing, you know?
Hmm.
Like they leave it open enough for you to make your own decisions on what the story could be, yet when they write it themselves, they explain it to a point where you can't be lost,
Hmm.
you know? Like they'll leave it like right now, they're leaving a loose end to next episode, but I personally feel like when it comes to the end of the actual series, it's probably gonna be one of the best anime finales that's going to exist for
Yeah.
at least a long time, you know?
Hmm.
Because since they're able to be so I really hope nothing like no tragedies happen or whatever regarding the show, but I
There's
feel
only
like
to me, it's kind of sad. I never read ahead ever, right? But to
mhm,
me thinking, there's only one way that this anime could end like fully without no questions asked. That's it. Is if Subaru ends up going to the real world, right?
mhm.
Forever, and just using the skills and motivation of saving literal people, and what is it? Just like
Knowing that
all his
seizing
work.
opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That he learned from Amelia's world, he's going to bring it back to the real world and actually, put into motivation to go to school, actually, be successful, right? He just goes to the real world, leaving the old world or Amelia's world behind. That's the only way that this could have like, because if it ends like that, there's like no thinking. Like, I wonder what Subaru and Amelia did after what is it after what is it the ReZero ended, because I'm thinking that, oh, like Amelia is going to win the election, right? Subaru is going to go back to the real world, and that's it. Basically, like, like Amelia is going to be like, what is it? There's no
You
question
did it,
that
homie.
she's
Yeah.
keeping she's making world peace, and Amelia Subaru is trying to be successful. That's it. That's the end. There's no questions asked.
You feel like that's going to be like a good ending?
It's going to be like a good ending, right? There's no questions asked about it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good ending for two people though. Like I feel like there's a good ending for two. Yet that's where I feel like this Akijina thing, I feel like that's where I'm
We
kind
mean
of
two people
lost.
because, like, what
No,
is
but
it? Like,
I don't know what's happening to Rem and Ram. I don't know
no,
if
no, no,
because Roswell,
Rem and
remember?
Ram come back. Like
Yeah,
everybody's safe. Everybody
yeah,
comes back safe. But like, you
yeah.
know,
But I don't know what that entails because Roswell. Remember, Roswell hasn't actually shown his true colors yet. He's only
mhm.
said he's
No,
only
no, no.
like
This is like basically like 8 seasons from now.
I know, but I'm
We'll
saying
get
like
all the explanation we need by the end of it. I'm pretty sure.
so you're basically saying okay, how
After
much?
everything's said and done, after there's no more conflicts, after we learned everything that needs to be learned, I'm pretty sure Subaru is going to be able to go back to the real world, never return to the Amelia's world. Amelia's going to win the election, right? And then so that she could, have world peace, right? Um, you know, everybody's basically safe. They rid the world of evil because Amelia won the election. There's no questions asked.
Yeah, I see.
It could rest peaceful in your mind without like thinking like, oh man, I wish there was another season of ReZero, because like after that ending, what else could they do?
I feel like what a better, a I guess a better
Because,
thing.
all right,
What
all right,
comes
all
of
right.
it? You want to know what?
I'm not.
Okay. No,
Wait, wait.
I know you're saying like this. It's already been like an hour and 20 minutes. We've been recording this. Just to finish up this point of you think a good ending for the whole show would be me personally. A good ending is that everyone respects Amelia and she's apologized and undid what she has done. Because that's why everyone hates her is because she looks that way. She looks like Satella and everything like that. That's why everyone hates her. Even if she wins the election, it doesn't mean people are going to like her.
I
That's what
feel
I
like your little
that's
your good ending could still like I feel like that's a point in adding to the good ending that I made up. And the reason why I also think that the ending that I made up in my head, right,
mhm.
will also be a good ending, because it kind of has closure. Because like, what is it? If let's say if Subaru were to, you had the good ending where Subaru stays in Amelia's world, to live with her. People are going to be like, oh, I wonder if they're going to make another season, because that's totally possible that there could be another conflict. Like, oh, they'd be living, peacefully, and then there could be another conflict. But if Subaru goes back to the real world, right?
Yeah.
Amelia, wins the election. There can be no more conflict because Subaru's in the real world. They can't do anything more.
Yeah, I think what's going to be kind of melancholy about it is
The
technically
fact that
Amelia.
Subaru won't be able to see Amelia ever again, or Ren, or
Yeah, yeah. And also, what I really want them to do is have a great explanation on why he was brought there at some
yeah.
point close to the end, because that's still something no one who watches the show knows. Because they're like, yeah, he was brought into this world. He ended up in front of, wasn't it? Didn't he get like brought in front of a fruit cart? Like that's where he ended up. And then he went down the alley and they beat him up in the alley, or they're going to beat him up. It's like,
Mhm,
take his stuff because he only had his snacks and some of the things he had in the little plastic bag he brought from the store in his own
mhm.
normal world, right? So if that's how it starts, it was such a
Wait, wait,
whoa,
wait!
whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa!
Calm down, calm down. What's
Wait,
up?
wait,
What's
wait.
up?
Going back to like, oh, where Super goes back to real world. If he could bring a bag from his world to Amelia's world, does it mean he could bring like an entire person from Amelia's world to his world?
So you're thinking they just gonna like pull Amelia out there and just be like,
Yeah.
I it's like, hey mom and dad, I kinda just brought an anime girl home.
yo, yo, that's
Yo, if he
that
yo, the
doesn't
thing is
fit with Zero, but that's really possible.
the thing is I don't know
Is
who
it not?
created the I think it might be possible. He can bring inanimate objects. That's what we know. He can bring like just objects so far. However, I don't know if
You know, he could
people
bring stuff.
I don't know who
They
makes
didn't
the
say,
portal.
but what is it? We just know that he. No, 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 yeah, because they brought himself. He
He
can't bring people because they brought Subaru.
yeah, but
Subaru is a person.
I wonder if it works the other way because remember Amelia's technically wait, no, they're both part beast as well. I was gonna say because you know how like he was able to take the trial, she was able to take the trial.
Yeah, no,
Um,
but what is it? I'm guessing if he holds Subaru while she's.
yeah, I think it would
Uh,
be possible. I really want to know who created the portal. That's what I want to know because that's still not figured out. I don't personally think it was Echidna because she was still in this timeline the whole time he's been there. She's been dead, right? She's
you
only
guys, you could tell how far our mental state has gone down because we're theorizing the ending
yeah,
of the fact that Subaru brought a bag with him to
yeah.
Amelia's road.
Exactly. We're going from the point of him just being like, "Hey guys, you want to try these snacks? I found them at this store." And then he's like, I'm gonna bring this whole girl home with me through a portal from a different world, technically thousands of years in the past." So, I mean,
Technically, he did go thousands of years into the past.
yeah. But also
Or-
that's the thing. Like remember he had his phone early in the season, he like traded it to save his life and like all that. He's like, I look at this. Look how it does. It captures people in a
Mhm.
box. Like, and all this kind of thing. Like, he was able to bring a fully working phone with nothing changing in it to
Mhm.
that world. So that means it's basically just a portal. Isn't a change between one side or the other to someone's physical being. So
But
I think it would be possible. Crazy thought, but I think it would be possible. I couldn't rule that out. It would be crazy to see too. Even if it's not the true ending, it would be great to see someone go back to his world. Because if someone starts messing up his world, that's the craziest conflict because he knows that.
yo, wait. That would actually. What do you think that would be like an entire arc
I
or
think it no, I
entire like
think it
set of
could be.
arcs?
I think what if someone went to his world when he came to theirs?
What if like freaking Satella went to his world?
What if like you never know? The thing is Satella is there. You never know how many of Satella there are, you know? Because technically
Right.
there's one witch, but you don't know how many people have that ability because Amelia has it because Amelia looks like it and whatnot. But I don't know how that works. There's so many different possibilities. I personally think it wouldn't be fully out of the question that someone went to his world when Subaru came to theirs. I don't feel that's fully out of the question, but also I don't know. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right.
I'm
Bet.
back.
All
Yeah,
right. So back when I first watched this anime a long time ago, and I watched season one, my first theory after watching it, and it was really stupid. It was really shallow. I had like 3 points. I forgot what even the third point was. Right.
yeah.
Um. But I thought the reason he's even in that world is because he got hit by a car.
Wait, what?
I thought he got hit by a car.
You mean in the beginning?
Hmm. Like
Wait, yeah. Huh.
because he was in the street, he wasn't really looking at all. And what is it?
What
Matter
if
of fact,
he's
he rubbed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was on the street when he rubbed his eyes, and when he opened them,
what
he
if
was in.
he's what if
But
he's
that
been in a coma this whole time?
dude, that was hurt.
because one thing I find is crazy, if you know in that little cross section of when he went back
Mhm.
to, when Echidna had him in the trial, he went back to his world for a little bit. On the shelf, I swear it was an Amelia figurine. Like, I don't
No,
know, I can't
that was a
confirm.
separate I looked at it, I paused it and looked at it. That was an entirely different anime.
Was it?
Yeah, that wasn't even a real anime, I don't think.
Oh, I wasn't sure if that was her character or not, but like it looked similar. So I was like, what if somehow he just wasn't there at all? It was all in his head. And he was returning by death and he was feeling pain, everything like that, just mentally. That would be too meta. And honestly, I don't have like the current information enough to formulate that theory. I
Matter
think
of fact, if that theory was true, you know how sad I would be that all those characters aren't even real. I mean, like they aren't even real in our world. But I mean, like speaking it from Subaru's point, like that all of that wasn't even real.
yeah, like even Echidna is not real. Even Puck isn't real. Like there's
The craziest part about that theory, right? That he's in a coma, right? This is just like a little fun theory. Of course, this is probably 90% not real, but the weird part about this theory is that there's actually a case where the guy was in a coma and completely imagined um what is it, a relationship. Matter of fact, he completely imagined an entire life, right?
damn, that's
Now,
kind of pain when you
a more
wake up and it didn't
a more
happen.
abbreviated version, right? Now he didn't live like an entire 70 years, right, or 30 years technically, right? But it was more abbreviated, so I'm guessing like the years went by like really fast, right? But he grew up from when he was a kid, found a girlfriend, had kids with her in the coma, right? Had kids with her, right? And just literally one night when he was what is it when he was just what is it just sitting in bed, he woke up from his coma
And none of
and
it was real.
none of it was real. That's so
Huh.
weird.
Bro, that must hurt.
That's,
Like
that's
if you
sad.
were
That's weird. That's oh,
no,
like
if you
imagine it.
remember all of it and it didn't happen, like
Mhm,
I remember this is a funny story. When I was really little, like I wanted one of those like ride on cars, like they had like the power wheels.
mhm,
I may have been like 4 or 5 at the time, like peak age to have one of them. And there was like this blue quad bike one at Walmart. And I dreamed that I had it and I went down to the garage and I was like, I'm gonna ride this thing today. And it wasn't there when I woke up and I was so floored. Like that's how small it was to me at that time. It was massive in my memory, but like overall it was so small. But like to imagine a whole family for however long he was in a coma and then to come back and that wasn't even there, that must be really stressful.
mhm.
Geez, how many years was he in a coma? Was it like 30 years or something crazy like that?
No, he wasn't in a coma for 30 years. I think he was. I forgot how long he was in a coma, but it definitely wasn't as long as he was. Was it?
Imagining?
Yeah, it was more his imagination. Life was more abbreviated. It wasn't like like an entire. It didn't. It was an
Yeah.
entire years. It's kind of like a slideshow, kind of.
Oh, I see. I see.
It was kind
That's
of like
so
a
crazy.
compilation, but still, it felt real to him.
Hmm.
There's no question. It wasn't like, oh, look, this is kind of like a slideshow of somebody's life. No, it's just like, oh, this is my life.
That would be horrible. Like just imagine like you or me
Yeah,
was just like in a coma and that was to happen.
yeah, and that's why I mentioned that because imagine this is what Subaru's in, but that's like a 90% chance that that's not what it is. He
Yeah.
definitely real life teleported. Because honestly, it's so weird that that him being teleported to another world is more realistic than him being in a coma.
Yeah.
That's so weird. That's ReZero logic right there.
That's
Him
like
being teleported to another world is a more realistic um depiction of what happened than him actually being in a coma this entire time.
yeah. Like I find it to be so crazy that they've made it almost impossible to think it's fake, you know? Like
Hmm.
in anime terms, I mean, because obviously in real life that's not possible. But I mean like in anime terms. there haven't even been able to be grounds for that kind of theory that, oh, this hasn't happened at all. Like almost 100%, he's transported to a different world and he's going through all this stuff and
Hmm.
no one else really fully understands it. Because even though people know he has returned by death, no one fully understands the power, you know? Like,
Hmm.
I feel like other than Echidna, she might have the most understanding of it right now.
Yeah, she
But
has the full understanding of it, actually.
you think? Because like
Be-
didn't
Because
Satella
no,
give
no,
it
no,
to him?
yes, yes, of course. Why? Because Subaru literally told her everything. The one episode ended with
He was saying I can return by death and over
Ekidona
and over.
Ekidona saying, yeah, he was repeating I could return by death over and over, and Ekidona was like, tell me, start from the beginning, tell me everything that happened, and then the next episode was him finishing up
Mhm.
with and how he got to this point. She knows everything. She's been watching
Yeah.
the entire time, and now she has firsthand experience of, or not firsthand, but like you know, she literally, what is it? Heard it from the man himself.
Yeah.
Everything.
And
So
she's
she knows
been
everything.
watching that whole time and now she knows for sure this is what's happened.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't really have much more to add like
Yeah.
to it. I feel like there's probably going to end up being close to an hour and a half's worth in this episode.
Yeah.
Um
What is it? As crazy as this episode was, there wasn't really much to talk about. Like last episode, there's a
so
lot.
much.
So
Yeah.
much. Like not that much even happened that episode. What
Yeah.
even happened that episode? Not that much even happened. There's no much action. It was just all talking,
Yeah.
and there was so much to talk about in that episode. And this episode, so much more happened, but there was just less to talk about. It was really straightforward.
Yeah, it
Um,
was more or less like what we talked about. The
yeah,
the
it
decisions
was
were
just
made
continuation.
and it
It was
was
just like,
yeah.
yeah, it was just like, oh, what is it? Debunked, or confirmed. Yeah,
Yeah, it's how it really went. So honestly, I'm not gonna be mad at that episode. I'm happy it's not the last one because that would be the worst thing to leave off
yeah.
on.
We have
They have
two episodes.
two more. We're
Yeah,
gonna hopefully by October time we aren't mad at the show. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
But yeah, I think we can leave it off here for this week's episode.
You can
Um,
catch us next week when we talk about second to last
episode
episode
yeah,
before the.
episode 37.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's no more to say. I mean,
Yeah, really, not much
bye,
else. Bye.
bye, leave,
Yeah, you
bye,
can,
bye.
bro. Just go to sleep now. Just come on.
Watch this entire thing. Bye.
Bye.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's
the
it.
outro.
Yeah. Whoa,
Wait.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa.
Calm down, calm down. What's up? What's up?
Don't.
And he growed, like he grew. I should say not growed. That was bad English. He grew so far. All right, so we good?
Yeah, you tell Craig to leave.
Hey, Craig, you can fucking leave now, please. Just fucking.
That's a blooper.
Just- I don't know why. I don't know why Craig thinks he's been invited all this time. He's like stalking us. Like, oh, homie, he's just out here being like, hey yo, what you up to? Hey, oh,
He
you
said,
watching it? Hey,
he
you
said,
watching the show? Hey, you watching the show? Hey, let me watch.
no
Hey, yo, shit.
recording.
Yeah. He ain't even quiet about it. He
Yeah.
ain't even quiet.
Yeah.
He just out here being like, "Hey yo, I'm recording your conversation. What you gonna do? Oh, you're talking about a show. Sh- share your Crunchyroll subscription with me right now. I'm gonna watch it. Oh,
Now
you're using?
recording.
Yeah,
He with the, you know how he like, you know how he'd be like, was it? Nah, I can't talk to him. He wired. He wired
yeah.
the house, right? You know how
Um, imagine you walk up to someone and you run a wire and it just
you
screams now
walk,
recorded.
you walk into your replay, right? You walk up to your play, right? Now recording.
he's gonna be Bro, you know, I'm so tempted to just make that my ringtone. That would be great. Yo, yo, you just you freak so many people out. Be like, "Hey, yo, what were you recording this whole time?"
Oh no, it's that funny. Oh, why is this that funny? Oh, I got six pack.
Oh, bro.
Oh.
Should Craig actually leave now? Should Yeah, I think we should like, like let him go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
he ain't even quiet about it.
Yeah, he ain't. I wish they could hear it. I wish like I could double up the amount of Craigs in this chat just so you could like hear Craig being like, now recording. Like, homie's like, it's like, okay, we know. You can just do your thing. It says recording your name. It even puts like an exclamation point in front of his name. Like, why is he trying so hard? I don't get it. But you know what? Ayo, he's doing his thing. Like, why is he a bear? Like, why is Craig a bear? This is one thing I noticed. Like,
Now recording.
yeah, like, hey yo, shut up.
He said he ain't quiet about it either. He just pull
He
up
just
pull up to like the what is it, the drug deal, and then you just scream now recording.
you hop out your car and then you're just like, hey yo, what you recording for? He's like,
That's funny. Now recording.
what if I just did it randomly for every 5 minutes? It's like now recording. Really invasive Craig. It's just like
I think I'm done.
yeah. All right, bye.